This is the story of a trip that starts off fun, but slowly turns into a nightmare. Three close friends, Marcus, Goldie, and Brar, are heading into the forest for one final bachelor trip before they all get married. It's been a long time since the three of them hung out together, so they're excited, laughing, and enjoying the peaceful drive. The road cuts through the quiet woods, and everything feels light and happy for now. At the same time, somewhere deeper in the forest, a couple is spending some quiet time together. They're relaxed, lying under the trees and enjoying nature, until they suddenly hear strange sounds coming from nearby. Curious but cautious, they get up to check where the sound is coming from. What they find shocks them. There, on the forest floor, lies a human heart, ripped out and thrown aside like trash. The girl panics. She begs her boyfriend to leave right away. He agrees and they rush back toward their car. But just as they are about to open the doors, a masked man appears out of nowhere. In a flash, he cuts off the boyfriend's head. The girl screams, but another man steps out of the shadows, grabs her, and drags her away. This brutal moment becomes the chilling opening of our story, a warning of what's to come. Back on the road, unaware of any of this, Marcus, Goldie, and Brar decide to stop at a small cafe to eat. Inside, Goldie notices a girl named Helen sitting alone. He walks over and tries to talk to her, maybe flirt a little, but she coldly rejects him. Embarrassed, he turns to leave. But that's when her husband storms in. Furious, the man attacks Goldie and punches him several times. Marcus and Brar jump in to help and pull the man away, but the damage is done. The cafe owner comes out, sees the fight, and yells at all three of them to get out and never come back. Feeling insulted and bruised, the friends leave in silence. But as they drive away, Marcus can't help but tease Goldie about what just happened. On the other side, we return to Helen. She's sitting at a table with her husband, who's clearly still angry. He accuses her of starting the conversation with Goldie, saying she must have given him a signal first. Helen keeps denying it, calmly and firmly telling him she never spoke to that guy. But her husband doesn't believe her. His eyes burn with jealousy, and the tension between them grows. Meanwhile, Marcus, Goldie, and Brar are back on the road. As they drive through the forest, they notice a car parked strangely on the roadside. At first, they think someone might need help, but then they see something disturbing. Two people in strange, creepy masks are pulling a body out of the trunk and tossing it into the bushes. The scene is quick but horrifying. Marcus freezes. "What the hell was that?" he asks, staring back through the rearview mirror. Brar shrugs, trying to stay calm. Maybe they're locals or hunters. Probably nothing to worry about. "Locals don't wear masks like that," Marcus mutters, but the others urge him to keep driving. Still, something about the whole thing keeps bothering him. And then another problem hits. The signal on all their phones disappears completely. Of course, right? No phone service, just like every horror story ever told. No signal means no help, no map, and no way to contact anyone. While these three keep moving forward, far ahead of them, another couple, Jordan and Casey, has already reached the camping spot. They've pitched their tents, lit a small fire, and are settling in. The forest is quiet, but as the sun begins to fade, something shifts. Casey senses it first. She whispers to Jordan that it feels like someone is nearby, watching them. Jordan quickly gets up and starts checking the area, scanning the trees and shadows. The air feels heavy. Suddenly, something lunges out at him from behind. Casey screams. But then they hear laughter. It's just their friends playing a prank. The tension fades, replaced by annoyed laughter and scolding. Casey is still shaking a little, but they all joke it off and go back to chilling under the stars, unaware of what's truly out there. But the camera shifts now, deep into the forest, where an old abandoned house sits hidden beneath a thick wall of trees and vines. Inside, it's dark and dusty. Dozens of small dolls hang from the ceiling and sit on shelves, all staring blankly in every direction. This house holds secrets, and whoever lives here, or used to, wasn't ordinary. Are these people simply collectors, or something much darker, like smugglers, or something worse? To find out, stay with us. Brar stands up and says, "This is my last bachelor trip before I get married, so I want to make it really special." He shows them a special drink he brought just for this night. Everyone gets excited and decides to collect food, firewood, and music to make the evening perfect. Meanwhile, in another part of the area, Helen is talking to her father. She tells him that she and Johnny had a small fight, but they're still going hunting tomorrow. Her father looks serious and says, "You both should stop going into the forest. It's not the same anymore." And then we see why. The girl who was kidnapped earlier is tied up in a dark basement. The masked man walks in slowly, holding a heavy hammer. Without saying a word, he smashes her head. The scene is so horrifying that it would give anyone chills. Back at the camp, the group of friends is enjoying themselves. They drink Brar's special drink, laugh, share stories, and relax without knowing someone is secretly watching them from the trees. While they drink, Jordan raises his glass and says, "Let's make this trip unforgettable. We don't know when life will change or when someone will get married, so let's live these 3 days like they're our last." And those words might come true. The next morning, Helen and Johnny get ready to go hunting. Back at the camp, everyone else is still asleep from last night's drinks. Suddenly, an old man appears. He's wearing strange clothes, holding handcuffs, and carrying an axe. Goldie wakes up and asks, "Who are you? What do you want?" But the old man doesn't reply. He just stares at them, then turns and slowly walks away. Marcus sees him too, and remembers the masked men he saw earlier. He starts to feel uneasy, but his friends laugh at him and call him a coward. Meanwhile, Johnny and Helen are deep in the forest. Johnny tells Helen to wait in one spot while he goes ahead to look for a bear. She agrees and puts on her earphones to listen to music. She gets lost in the songs. Johnny walks deeper into the woods. He spots something red on the ground, blood. He stops and looks around, thinking a bear might be nearby. But before he can move, an arrow suddenly hits him in the stomach from behind. He falls to the ground in pain. Then a masked man appears and cuts Johnny's throat. Johnny screams, but Helen doesn't hear him. Her music is too loud, and that's the scary truth. Sometimes it's safer to leave your earphones at home. After taking a day to rest and recover, the group of 5 friends decides to go trekking into the forest to enjoy the scenery. Everyone is excited, laughing and packing light snacks and water as they begin the hike. The forest is quiet, with tall trees and winding paths, and for a while it feels peaceful. As they walk, Marcus brings up something that's been bothering him. "In the morning, I saw that old man again," he says. "He was holding a pair of handcuffs and looked like he was hunting someone. Maybe even us." Jordan waves it off. "He's probably just a local. I've heard stories that a few strange people live around here." "Don't overthink it. Chill, man." They keep walking and hiking deeper into the forest. After a long trek, they find a resting spot near a cliff with a good view. The group settles down, exhausted but happy. Jordan stands up and says, "I'm gonna go smoke for a bit. Anyone coming?" Everyone shakes their heads, too tired to move. So Jordan walks off alone. As soon as he takes the first puff of his cigarette, he hears a faint rustling behind him. When he turns around, it's already too late. A masked man is standing there, and with a swift swing, he cuts Jordan's head clean off. The horrifying part comes next. Another masked man joins him, and together they begin to tear into Jordan's body like wild animals, eating him raw, their hands soaked in blood. Back at the resting spot, the others hear Jordan's distant screams. Brar is the first to run toward the sound, but when he reaches the spot, he freezes in horror. He sees the 2 masked brothers eating Jordan's body. His whole body shakes. He wets his pants in fear and accidentally makes a sound. The masked men look up and lock eyes with him. Without wasting a second, Brar runs as fast as he can back to the others. "We have to leave right now," he shouts. "This place isn't safe. They killed Jordan. They're eating him." Everyone panics and starts to run. But just then, one of the masked men shoots an arrow. It flies through the trees and hits Casey straight in the back. She collapses instantly, dead. The remaining 3 don't stop. There's no time. They keep running, full of fear, and finally reach their tent. They quickly start packing up, their hands shaking, but safety doesn't come. The 2 masked brothers are already there, slowly approaching, weapons in hand, ready to finish them off. Suddenly, Goldie steps forward. He picks up a large branch and shouts, "Run! Both of you! Go get help!" Marcus and Brar hesitate, but Goldie yells again, "Go! Now!" With no choice, they run. The 2 masked brothers don't take long to kill Goldie. The scene then shifts to the same basement we saw earlier, the one where the girl was kept. But now someone else is trapped there. It's Helen, Johnny's wife. At first, Helen is confused. She doesn't understand where she is or what's going on. But soon she sees one of the masked men enter the room. He's carrying Goldie's dead body. Right in front of her, he starts cutting the body into pieces. That's when Helen realizes the horrifying truth. These men are cannibals. They kill people and eat them raw. Helen is locked in the basement, and no one knows she's there. Her father, worried that she and Johnny haven't returned in 2 days, goes to meet the town sheriff. The sheriff is also an old friend of his. Helen's father explains the situation, and the sheriff agrees to help. The 2 of them head into the forest to search. Back in the forest, it's getting dark. Marcus is feeling anxious. He hasn't seen Brar or Jordan, and now Goldie is missing too. He's scared and on edge. Goldie tries to calm him down, saying, "Relax, we'll be fine. We'll get out of here." But before he can say more, the 2 brothers appear again. They kill Goldie right there and grab Marcus. He fights back, but they're too strong. They drag him to the same basement where Helen is held. When Helen sees him, she gasps, "It's you, Marcus!" Marcus, shaking and confused, asks her, "What is this place?" Helen replies with fear in her voice, "This is the house of cannibals. I saw them, eating people, alive and raw." Marcus's face turns pale. He's terrified. Before they can say anything else, the brothers come back. They grab Marcus and take him away again. Now Helen is alone in the dark, unsure of what will happen next. Meanwhile, her father and the sheriff continue searching through the forest. After hours of walking, they finally find something. The car that belonged to Marcus, Goldie, and Brar. But something is off. There's no one inside, and the number plate is missing. The sheriff immediately senses something is wrong. "Someone didn't want this car to be traced," he says. He starts putting the pieces together, but Helen's father doesn't care about clues. All he wants is to find his daughter before it's too late. Now it's dinner time, but tonight there's a new guest at the table, Marcus. He's terrified as he's forced to sit with the masked brothers, unsure of what's going to happen next. Suddenly, one of the masked men removes his mask, and Marcus sees a strange woman sitting at the head of the table. She introduces herself as the mother of the two brothers. Her voice is loud and dramatic, and her behavior is just as over the top and bizarre. She smiles at Marcus and says, "Don't be scared. You're going to marry my eldest daughter. She really likes you." Marcus is stunned. The woman continues, saying that her younger son is going to visit the girl who's tied up downstairs, Helen. She says they'll use her to grow the family. But before that, she says cheerfully, "Let's eat." They bring out the food and place a dish in front of Marcus. When the lid is lifted, he freezes in horror. It's Brar's head, cooked and placed on a platter. Marcus starts shaking, but the mother and brothers laugh and force him to eat. Everyone acts like it's normal. Then they begin a strange ritual. The older son cuts his own foot with a knife and then walks in wearing a wedding dress. The mother announces that the wedding ceremony has begun. She performs the creepy rituals, and once it's done, they tell Marcus to go upstairs with the bride. Marcus is horrified. Inside, he's panicking. He thinks, "It would have been better if they just killed me." Meanwhile, the younger son heads to the basement to check on Helen. But when he gets there, she's not tied up anymore. She's right behind him. Before he can react, Helen throws a rope around his neck and pulls with all her strength. She doesn't stop until he's dead. Back upstairs, Marcus is about to be taken to the room when the worst begins. The groom is fully dressed and ready to attack him. Just in time, Helen bursts into the room and tries to attack the masked man. She misses her strike, and he quickly starts to overpower her. It looks like she's about to lose. But then Marcus gathers his courage and jumps in. He attacks the masked man from behind and injures him badly. The man stumbles, screams in pain, and runs away into the darkness. A lot is happening now, but the fight isn't over yet. Far away from all the horror, the sheriff and Helen's father, Alan, are still searching for her. Alan is growing more and more worried. "She couldn't have gone too far," he says. "It's been too long." The sheriff replies, "There's a small cottage deep in the forest. A family lives there, but they've never caused trouble before. Maybe Helen is there." Alan agrees to check it out. Meanwhile, Helen is running through the forest trying to escape. Marcus, however, is injured. His leg is badly hurt, and he can't keep up. Suddenly, the elder son appears in front of Helen, blocking her way. But she doesn't hesitate. She fights back and kills him on the spot. But it's not over. The mother is still alive. She grabs Marcus and starts dragging him away, furious, wanting revenge for her son's deaths. She's wild, screaming, and ready to kill. Then Helen arrives just in time. She grabs a knife and slices into the mother's neck. The woman falls, but Helen keeps attacking, over and over, until the woman is finally dead. Helen made her suffer the same way the others had suffered. With the nightmare finally over, Helen helps Marcus walk to the roadside. He's badly hurt but still breathing. By pure luck, they run into the sheriff and Alan, who immediately put them in the car and rush them back to the city. But just when we think the story's done, a final twist appears. The old man we saw earlier, the strange one from the forest, returns home. What he sees shocks him. The bodies of his wife and two sons lying dead in blood. His face fills with rage and sadness. Yes, he's the father, the true head of this flesh-eating family, and now he'll want revenge. What kind of horror will he bring next? That's a story for another time. Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, let us know in the comments. See you in the next video. Peace out.